Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a delicious dessert for my niece. We are going to be making a coffee cake cheesecake for my niece with a homemade graham cracker crust and a nice crumb topping. It's going to be delicious, so if that sounds like something that would interest you, come along and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is make the crust for our cheesecake. So I'm going to start by crushing up 210 grams of graham crackers because we want 2 cups of graham cracker crumbs. So one packet has 139 grams. Okay, that's close enough. I'm going to leave that one in there because I can. Okay, so I'm going to put these in my food processor and make crumbs out of them. Too high. Okay. I'm going to pulse it. Oh, there's still a couple big pieces in there. Maybe they're just too big. Break those up a little bit. Okay, so they are crushed up. Let me leave that shut. To that, I am going to add in 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to add in a 1/2 cup of melted butter. Okay. Let me get a spatula. Alright, let me try and scrape down the sides of some of these because we don't want any dry bits. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it into a 9-inch springform pan. Okay, apparently you have to take the lid off before that comes off. Alright, so I'm going to put this into my springform pan. And with clean hands, I am going to, which I've already washed my hands, I'm going to press this into the bottom and then up the sides. So let me move all this over here so you guys can see. All right. All right. This is going to give it a beautiful crust on the bottom. Okay. And I want it to be even all the way across the bottom. So I don't want some sides higher than others. Okay. All right, so now that we have that, we are going to, what are we going to do? We are going to bake our crust in a, okay. Position oven rack in the center of your oven and another rack on the bottom. I'm going to preheat my oven to 325. And I'm going to bake it in the center for 8 minutes. And then I'm going to let it cool slightly. So, let me get this in the oven to start baking. All right, so while we're waiting for our oven to preheat so that we can bake the cheesecake crust, our coffee cake cheesecake has a lot of different components. So we're going to start working on some of those other components while we are waiting for the oven to preheat. The first component that we are going to work on is the cinnamon swirl. So to do that, we are going to combine half a cup of packed brown sugar, a teaspoon, let me move that out of the side, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm using Ceylon cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of unsweetened cocoa powder. Okay, so let me get a fork so that I can start mixing that up. And we just want it to be well combined, and then we're going to set this aside. And we're going to start working on our streusel topping. And I will link the recipe for this down below. My niece sent it to me and requested it as for me to make her this during her postpartum. So I'm doing it. Okay. All right. So that's good. We're going to set that aside. Now we're going to start working on the streusel topping. So let me get another bowl. All right. So to make our streusel topping, we need 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, and we need a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a 1/2 cup, of packed brown sugar. And I am almost out of brown sugar, so I will need to make more here soon. Hopefully I have enough to finish this recipe though. Okay. And to that, we are also going to need a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. Let me see if I need to melt that. I do need to melt it. Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to melt some butter. Okay, so I have my butter melting. Let me just start to stir this up. And our crust is in the oven, 325 degrees for 8 minutes. So it's not going to cook it all the way through. It's just going to kind of set it up. Okay, I have my butter back now. So baking our crust is just going to kind of set it up so that we will be ready for the cheesecake. So let me add my butter. Again, it's a 1/4 cup of melted butter for our streusel topping. And we're going to mix this up until all of our dry ingredients are incorporated. So, tell me below what your favorite cheesecake is. What your favorite flavor of cheesecake is. I like a nice raspberry cheesecake. I actually have a video where I did a raspberry cheesecake in the Instant Pot, and it actually came out really, really good. It was so delicious. Okay, so we have our streusel topping done and mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and get everything out now for our cheesecake filling, and then I will be back. Okay, so the first part of making our cheesecake is we are going to do 4 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. Oop, I need a spatula to get all this off. Going through a lot of spatulas today. All right. Okay, so let me get these opened up because clearly it's going to take me a little bit of time, and then I'll be back with you guys. Okay, we have our 4 blocks of cream cheese in there. To that, I am going to add 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, and we are going to mix that on medium speed for about 2 minutes until everything is nice and smooth and the sugar has dissolved. Well, there we go. Struggling. I'm going to start it out on low so I don't have sugar and stuff everywhere, and slowly increase it. And I am going to also scrape down the sides periodically. Make sure everything's getting mixed in and that sugar on the bottom is getting mixed in. Okay, I guess I wasn't recording, sorry. So we've made our cheesecake filling with 8 blocks of cream cheese, and what else do we have in there? 3/4 of a cup of sugar, then we added in a 1/4 cup of flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1/2 cup of sour cream, And then we added in 4 eggs. We beat all that till it was smooth. Now we are going to assemble it in our crust that has been previously cooked. So we have half of our filling there. To that, we are going to sprinkle our cinnamon swirl filling over the top. And I'm assuming all of it. Okay. All right, let me make sure that I'm doing this right. All right, so let me spread that out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to carefully pour the remaining cheesecake filling over the top of that. Make sure I get all of it. Okay. Put that aside someplace. Okay. Then I'm going to carefully smooth that out. Being careful not to disrupt. My swirl. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to run a skewer through it to gently swirl everything together. Okay, let's see here. What does Mama have but a chopstick? All right. So I don't want to disturb the crust itself, but I do want to swirl everything. Okay, I hope this is right. I can see bits and pieces of it coming. I can feel I can feel the skewer, the chopstick, scraping along the crust. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let me smooth that out a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to sprinkle the streusel topping evenly over the top. I'm just going to try and break it up here a little bit so there's not huge chunks. I think my niece is going to love this. Love, love, love. I want to get it right up to the edge. Okay. A couple little spots got out. Okay. So we have our cheesecake all put together. So let me wash my hands and I'll be back. All right, so we put a pan in the bottom of our oven with 2 cups of boiling water, and then we put our cheesecake on the rack right above it, and we are going to let that bake with the water in there for 70 minutes. When that's done, we're going to take the pan of water out, and we're going to continue baking our cheesecake for another 20 to 30 minutes. And then we're going to turn off the oven, and we're going to leave it in the oven for 2 hours to cool off. So, I'll be back. All right, my friends, we have taken it, we have baked it, and we are now going to let it sit in the oven for 2 hours to cool off. After about 30 minutes, I'm going to run a knife along the edge, and then I'll let it finish the 2 hours in the oven. It will deflate some as it cools off. So I'm going to leave my door ajar and leave it in the oven for 2 hours. Okay guys, so we have our coffee cake cheesecake here, and we're going to take it out of the pan. So it did collapse a little bit, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to need to get a spatula to put it on. Well, this is going to come off my little... Yikes! Well, I wonder if I can do this a different way. We're going to try. Hopefully it's not going to mess it up, but we're going to try. And it is stuck, but that's okay because I'm going to fix it. And nobody's going to know the difference. Ha ha ha. It's on the bottom. Nobody needs to know. Kenzie, don't watch this video. I probably should have done parchment paper, but oh, next time. Look at that. It looks great. It looks fantastic. Look at that. Ooey and gooey. Looks great, doesn't it? Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up in YouTube, which is a like, and please share this video with your friends and encourage them to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!